Hello and welcome to another update from the farm. Today is 16th August 2025. Time is about 1:45. Weather is super pleasant. The last 2 weeks I heard it rained crazy, and as a result things are super green everywhere. Wherever I see, even on the way, paddy fields, all the other fields, they are super green. My neighbors have done coconut tree plantation. You might be able to see it from here. Some of them have done groundnut. Whenever it rains, it's awesome. So this part of the section of the field is the only section where we have not done any trench work or drip irrigation, mainly because of the cow fodder we have. We don't want to disturb it. Practically there's no other place in the field where we have any cow fodder, mainly because we have done kambu, pearl millet and takapondu, that is Daincha, for the purpose of producing biomass for mulching. I'll show you the progress of the growth there in a few minutes. Before that, let me tell you the plan here. This is the section where we are going to do filters and venturi. So the plan is we will create a structure here on top of which we will keep the two syntax tanks. Both are around 500 liters, along with some piping work and some space for being able to stand and stir the Jivamrita. From the tank we will have another setup for filtering. I'm still thinking we will do it the manual way. Maybe we'll have a small drum with a mix of coarse grained pebbles and then small pebbles, sand, silt, like that. So we should have a filtering mechanism. Then we will use a mesh filter to filter before we send the whole Jivamrita into venturi. So I'll keep you posted as we develop this. At the moment, we have just cleaned up the sides except for one small section at the back, for making sure that the solar fencing functions properly. This is a pain because whenever there's weeds, if they touch the solar fencing, then the voltage drops significantly and even the alarms start going off, thinking that there's an animal that is touching it, right? So we have to make sure that the sides are always clear of the weed. Cutting them every 2 weeks once or 3 weeks once is not a great way to go about because it's very costly. So I'm thinking I'll make some investment in these weed mats. I've seen them in Amazon and a few online places where we can buy mats which are 4 feet wide and they may be like 50 feet long, 100 feet long, very similar to mulching sheet but slightly thicker than that. I believe they'll be about 100 GSM. I'm just thinking we will make an investment there and then spread them just below the solar fencing. That way we can control the weeds. As you see, all the other things that we were casually doing, like that is agati, this is papaya, and then there's some drumstick here. All these things have started growing very well. Farm pond, as expected, water is not getting retained, mainly because this is red soil and there is a lot of seepage of water. So there are two options, like I was discussing earlier. One option is a very simple rubber sheet that we can spread across the farm pond, but it's not natural. What we are thinking is we will spread clay from maybe a lake bed or a river bed, maybe a lake bed, and then once it is spread, then we will just probably use the excavator to just spread it even on the side slopes. Let's see. We'll still have to discuss with some experts and see how it works. Hopefully the clay will retain water, but otherwise the top part for now we will keep it free of any cultivation. Maybe in future we might want to do some palm trees, but at the moment for the side slopes, especially on the outer edges, we are thinking about just doing the Co4 or Super Napier. And I'm thinking we should scale up the Co4 production for cows. Right now it's only this field. So I'm just thinking, one, we will plant them across these edges, the side edges. That way we can use the space, plus the roots will probably make the bund or the edges of this farm pond stronger. And then across both the sides of the road, we're thinking we will plant them right from the entrance all the way till the end. On both the sides we will do Super Napier or Co4 for now. That way we will utilize the space, we will reduce the weeds, and it will serve as cow fodder for the cows. That's the plan. Probably next week or the week after, when I post the video, I'll share with you an update on that. Usually we buy suckers meaning those sticks, just from the neighboring farms, and we make sure that those eyes, one of the cuts are at the top. We plant it at about 45 degrees. The update on Kambu, as you see, things have grown extremely well. These are almost 3 to 4 feet high. Daincha, like I mentioned earlier, the growth is not there at all. Like very few places here and there I can see. This is, for instance, Daincha. There was not much rain when we broadcasted the seeds, so only the Kambu was coming out very well. They sprouted quite decently, but the growth was slow. Daincha, the germination rate was pretty poor, like I think around 25% or something, mainly obviously because the soil was not wet and there were no rains. On the other hand, this section we broadcasted Daincha and Kambu just now, and it seems to have a better germination rate, mainly because of rains. Now I can actually show them to you now. As you see, these have already started germinating. This, the two leaves, is Daincha, and the one that looks like grass is Kambu pearl millet. So I can see a lot of Daincha and a lot of pearl millets, exactly how they were intended to sprout, unlike this section. So what is the implication? The implication of this is we have more carbon content mulch here, which means after we cut them and put it back to the trenches, we will have to do a round of, let's say, a cowpea or any of the pulses, maybe horse gram, I don't know. Horse gram seems to be coming out here very well. We have to do that and then put it back to the trenches after a few months. This section may take another 3 to 4 months for maturing fully. So while the mulching portion is almost done in this section, now we are starting to think about tree plantation. As a first step, I'm still thinking we will go ahead with the timber trees. Like maybe we will require about 120 trees or something, mostly around the peripheral. So we have the solar fencing. From the solar fencing, we will plant these timber trees at about 4 plus 16, that is around 20 feet from the solar fencing. And after that, we will have to start the 36 by 36 model. And given that there were a lot of rains, I heard these trenches were almost flooding last night, and thankfully none of the water went out, unlike compared to the previous days. Like all the water that falls on the farm are now retained, and I believe the borewell is also slightly running better. A couple of weeks ago, I think the borewell was running only for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we have to give it a break of like half an hour before we turn it on again. But now I understand it's running for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So we need to continue to focus on water conservation. Trenches is definitely one option. And then when we do mulch, clearly a lot of water that falls here will not get evaporated. And even once humus is created, it will retain a lot of water. And hopefully by then we would have gotten a lot of earthworms digging pores. That way the rainwater percolates down the soil. So that's the hope. Let's see how it goes. And this section has grown pretty well. Like as you see, there are a lot of pearl millet pods here, like, and I'm told there's a lot of birds that come now to eat them, which is great. Still we are not thinking about taking out the pearl millet for human consumption yet. We will still use this round mainly for just the mulching purposes. So I'm perfectly okay for birds to come and eat them. This is amazing. The bird droppings will be very valuable, and maybe in about 10 days I think these should be fully matured. After they are fully matured, once they reach the end of their lives, we will cut them fully and then put them back to the trenches. And in every trench we have left deliberately one drip tube, mainly because we want Jivamrita also to flow through the trenches. That way we'll have the microbial culture getting mixed with the soil mulch, sorry, the organic mulch, and that will help in decomposing them faster. Okay, that's all pretty much the updates that I had for today. So immediate next steps will be to finish off the balanced drip irrigation setup, complete the setup for Jivamrita, and then start planning for trees. Okay, that's all the updates I had. Catch you on a different video later. Bye bye.